Hello students. This is our first paper from FYBSc like Computer Science Instrumentation System. We are going to discuss about the chapter number 1, which is Introduction to Instrumentation System. Okay, so first of all, we should know what is instrumentation system, how it works, what is its block diagram, which are the different sections we are going to discuss inside this chapter. So first of all, we are going to study the block diagram of instrumentation system. After that, definition of sensor, transducer, actuators. After that, classification of sensor will be there. There is a broadly classification of sensor as active and passive sensor. And there are some specification related to the sensors, for example, accuracy, range, linearity, sensitivity, resolution, reproducibility, and so on. All right. So without wasting any time, we'll start with the actual chapter. First one is your definition of system. First of all, like we are going to study the instrumentation system. Okay. But what is system? A system is a set of things which are working together as a part of mechanism. That is a set of parameter comes together to perform an individual task. Okay. So there is a group of things which comes together and combinedly all that forms a system. Now, what is the instrumentation system? What is the definition of instrumentation system? It is the basic need of instrumentation in a process. It is to get the best and most amount of information so as to successful completion of the process. Instrumentation is a collective term for measuring instruments that are used for indicating, measuring, recording, and physical quantities. Okay, so what is instrumentation system? It is a system which is used to indicate, to measure, and to record any kind of physical quantity. Okay, so what is it in general format? It is a system which will indicate something. It is a system which will measure something. It is a system which will record some kind of physical quantity. The information that is achieved from these processes may be very simple and may mostly involve a direct measurement method. So in this instrumentation system, we have seen that measuring is one of the action. So for that measurement, we maybe use a direct measurement method. But as the process becomes more complex, direct measurement maybe seems to be practicable, and so indirect methods must be used for instruments. So basically, what is direct measurement? If we want to measure a temperature of a room, so in that case, you are not going to use a physical person to go, who the person will go inside that room and he'll measure the temperature. That is a direct method, and we are not going to use it because just because that person is entering into the room, temperature or any of the parameter which we are measuring, that may get deflect or that may get changed. That is why direct measurement methods are quietly complex, and because of that we are not using them very often. Which methods we are using very oftenly? Those are the indirect methods of measurement. Okay, after that, the instrumentation system is classified into two types. Okay, if we go in detail, we can just have two types of instrumentation system. First one is your analog instrumentation system, second one is your digital instrumentation system. Now we'll see what is analog and what is digital. As we know, an analog instrumentation system consists of three functional units, which are input or primary section. After that, second is your signal processing unit or secondary sensing element. And third one is your output unit or final element. All right. Now we can see the block diagram of analog type of instrumentation system, which contains first block as primary sensing element. There you can just use as your sensor or transducer. Okay. After that, there is a secondary sensing element. After that, there is an output unit, which may be of any kind of display. Okay, that display may be CRO display, computer display, LED display, LCD display, any kind of display circuit you can use at the output unit. All right, now we'll go in detail with the all the three stages. And the first stage is a primary sensing element. As I told you, primary sensing element may be your sensor or transducer. So primary sensing element, in this element, the input unit or primary sensing element receives the physical quantity whose value is to be measured. Okay, so what is the function of first state or primary state? It is going to use, we are going to use it for the sensing any kind of physical quantity. Okay, and it is converted into the proportional electrical signal such as voltage, current, resistance, or inductance, or even capacitance also. All right. So basically what is going to happen here? There is a sensor, and that sensor is going to sense any kind of physical quantity. Okay. For example, we'll consider the temperature. This sensor will sense this temperature and it will convert that temperature into its equivalent electrical signal. All right. Electrical signal may be of any type. It may be voltage, it may be current, it may be resistance, inductance, or even a capacitance also. All right. So hence the changed variable contain the information of the measured variable. What is going to contain? It is going to contain the information of measured variable. Which was the measured variable in this case? Temperature. All right. This is, and this functional element or device is called as a transducer, or you can just refer this as a sensor. Okay. After that, we are going to study the secondary sensing element, the second block of the block diagram. Now, what is it? The output of first functional unit, which its transducer is provided to the input of secondary sensing element. Like, it is obvious thing, output of first stage is connected to the input of second stage. Simple as that. The output of primary sensing element is weak electrical signal. Hence, this unit performs the different task on the signal to convert it into the readable form. Now, whatever signal we are going to get at this point, okay, at the output of first block, that signal is going to be very weak. Its amplitude is very, very, very low. Now, what we are going to need, that very low amplitude of signal is going to enter into the secondary sensing element, and secondary sensing element will do what? It will increase its amplitude, or it will increase its strength. Okay. And why that element is, or why that block is increasing the strength? Because that small amplitude signal or small strength signal is not able to display on the any kind of display. Okay. So that signal is not capable of producing any kind of display input, right? That is why we are increasing its amplitude, we are increasing its strength. Okay. This unit amplifies the weak transducer output, and it is filtered and modified to form acceptable by the output unit. Now, what this secondary sensing element block will do, it will amplify the signal, it will filter the signal, and it will pass that signal to the output unit. After that, this unit may have devices such as amplifier, filters, analog to digital converters, or digital to analog converter, and so on. So all the required devices will be containing into the secondary sensing element stage. All right. After that, the third and final element, which is the output from the secondary sensing element, is fed to the input of final element, which is the output unit. Obviously, as we are looking into the diagram, output of this secondary state is fed to the input of last state. Okay. The output unit measures the signal and indicates the value on the reader. What is the function of output block? It will measure the signal and it will display that signal on a reader. After that, the indication may be either through the indicating instruments, a CRO, or digital computer, or LCD display, and so on. That reader or that display is of any type. Okay, so this is all about analog instrumentation system. Now we are going to discuss what is digital instrumentation system. The block diagram of instrumentation system is same as the block diagram of digital instrumentation system. Okay, now whatever the block diagram we have seen earlier for the analog instrumentation system, that will be same for the digital also, but there are few changes. We'll see what are those changes are. Okay, the digital instrumentation system contains of all the main three functional blocks of analog instrumentation system. Which were these three blocks? First one is your first element, that is sensor or transducer, secondary element, and the last one is your output display. Okay, so all these three things are present in the block diagram of digital instrumentation system. Now, what is the difference between analog and digital? We'll see that. The digital instrumentation system consists of all the three main functional blocks. As I told you, the basic operation in a digital system includes the handling of analog signal, making the measurements, converting and handling the digital data, and programming that, and also a control. Okay, now we'll see the block diagram and we'll try to understand each and every block in detail. So this is what is a block diagram of digital instrumentation system. First block is nothing but your transducer. Second one is your signal conditioner. Third, multiplexer. After that, signal converter. After that, analog to digital converter. And last one is your digital recorder. Or you can just refer this as a display unit also. All right. Now, what is the function of transducer or sensor? It will sense the parameter, any physical parameter. Okay. Like temperature, pressure, displacement, velocity, acceleration, and so on, and those signals will be converted into its equivalent electrical signals. All right, so this is what is the basic function of your block number 1, which is transducer or sensor. The second is your signal conditioning unit. What is its function? The working of this unit is exactly the same as that of signal processing unit in the analog instrumentation system. We have seen that what is the function of signal processing unit in the previous block diagram. It will filter the signal, it will amplify the signal, it will convert the signal into a desirable format. So same functioning is going to happen inside the signal conditioning unit block. Okay. After that, the third stage is multiplexer. What is multiplexer? The multiple analog signals are received by this device. Obviously, we know what is the function of multiplexer. It will accept multiple inputs and it will provide a single output. Same thing is going to happen in this case. Multiple analog signals are received by the multiplexer and those are sequentially provided to the measuring instrument. Okay, one after another, we are going to provide those inputs to the measuring instruments. Next one is your signal converter. What is the signal converter? It is used to convert an analog signal to a form that is acceptable by the analog to digital converter. Okay, suppose we have one of the type of analog signal and our next block is analog to digital converter. We are going to feed output of this block to input of this block. Okay, so in that case, we need to convert our signal, which should be desirable, into the format that is acceptable by next block. Okay, so this is what is the function of signal converter. After that, analog to digital converter. Now the basic thing is that why we are converting signal from analog to digital? Because for processing or to control, we need any computer device. Okay, so all the computer devices understand only digital language. They are not able to understand the language spoken by the human beings, any other language. That is why we need to convert all type of languages into its equivalent language. Okay, and that is digital. That is why we need analog to digital converter here. The analog signal is converted into its proportional digital signal. The output of analog to digital converter is given to a display unit. The last stage, output of analog to digital converter is given to the display unit. After that, the very last stage is digital recorder. It is mostly a CRO or computer. Like I already told you, what is it? It can be a CRO, it can be a computer, it can be a LCD screen, it can be a LED screen, or any other type of display it can be. All right. After that, along with these functional units, a system programmer is connected to a multiplexer, signal converter, analog to digital converter, and digital recorder. The function of this unit is as following. Now we'll see what is its functioning. Okay. All the system programming and digital data processing functions are carried out by this unit. The auxiliary equipment may be the single computer or may be a collection of individual instruments. Some of its basic functions include linearizing and limit comparing. Okay. After that, we'll actually see what is the sensor, what is the transducer, and what is the actuator. What is the difference between all these three? Okay. The measurement is an important subsystem in any major system, whether it may be a mechanical system or an electronic system. Now, measurement is going to be very important parameter, no matter in which factor or in which sector you are working. If you are working in mechanical system, then measurement is important. If you are working in electronic system or electronic sector, again the measurement is very important. A measurement system consists of a sensor, actuator, transducer, and signal processing device. Now we'll see what are these three parameters in detail. First one is your sensor. Okay, the word sensor and transducers are widely used in association with the measurement system. Now, till now also we have recall this name for many a times, sensor and transducer. Okay, now what is it? The sensor is an element that produces signal relating to the quantity that is being measured. Now what is sensor? As its name indicates, it will sense something. Okay, now what is that something? That can be of any physical quantity. Okay, so that sensor will do what? It will sense that physical thing and it will produce a signal which is equivalent to the measured quantity. Okay, now what is the actual definition? A sensor is a device that provides usable output in response to the specific quantity which is measured. Now whatever we are measuring, for example we are measuring a temperature. Now sensor will do what? It will measure the temperature and it will produce some output which is proportional to the measured quantity which is temperature. Okay, a sensor is a device that detects changes and events in a physical stimulus and provides a corresponding output signal that can be measured and or recorded. Okay, output of sensor you can record also and you can measure also. Again, here the output signal can be any measurable signal and it is generally an electrical quantity. Now output of the sensor is usually any measurable signal, but usually it is a electrical quantity. Sensors are devices that perform input function in a system as they sense the changes in the quantity. Okay, now sensor is doing what? It is going to sense the changes which is happening in the quantity. All right, so this is what about the sensors. After that, actuators. Now the sensors, example of sensors are LM35. For example, LM35. LM35 is what? It is a sensor which measures a temperature. After that, LDR. What is LDR? It is a light dependent resistor and it is a sensor which senses the light. So these are the examples of sensor. After that, we'll see what is actuator. Okay, the actuators are the device that work opposite to the sensor. Now the operation or working of actuators are opposite to that of your sensor. Okay, a sensor converts physical quantity into its equivalent electrical signal, whereas what is the function of actuator? It will convert the electrical signal into the physical event or physical quantity. Okay, what that actuator is going to do? It will convert the electrical signal back into the physical quantity. When a sensor are used at the input system, actuators are going to use at the output of the system. Okay, now what is going to happen if we have a system? At the input of the system, what we'll have a sensor will do what? It will sense the quantity and it will produce equivalent electrical signal of it. That signal will reach to the output. Now at output we cannot sense the electrical quantities, we need a physical quantity. Okay, we cannot hear voltage, we cannot hear current, we need the equivalent physical quantity of that electrical signal, and actuator will perform that same task. It will convert the electrical signal back into the physical quantity. Okay, now what is the definition of actuator? An actuator is a device that moves or controls some mechanism. An actuator turns a control signal into a mechanical action, such as an electrical motor. Okay, actuators may be based on hydraulic, pneumatic, electric, thermal, or mechanical means, but they are increasingly being driven by the softwares. An actuator ties a control system to its environment. So this is what is the definition of the actuator. And examples are electric motor. What electric motor is going to do? It is going to accept the electrical signal and it is going to produce a physical thing. Okay, solenoids, hard drive, stepper motors, comb drivers, all these are the examples of actuators. After that, we'll see what is transducer. We have seen what is sensor, we have seen what is actuator, now we'll see what is transducer. Okay, transducers are the device that converts energy in one form to another form. Now we know the law of conservation of energy. We cannot destroy energy, we cannot create energy. It's just that we can convert energy from one format to another format, and transducer is doing the same job. It is going to convert the energy which is present in one form to the equivalent form of another energy. Generally, the energy is the form of signal. Transducer is a term collectively used for both sensors and actuator. Now, see this is a transducer. This is a one form of energy. No matter which energy is this is the one form of energy. We are providing this as an input to the transducer and we are going to receive another form of energy. For example, suppose there is a sensor. Okay, sensor will accept this temperature, right? And sensor will convert that temperature into a physical form. Oh, sorry, electrical form. Now that electrical energy is one form of energy, and that electrical energy will pass through this transducer. Now, suppose there is a actuator. Actuator will do what? It will accept that electrical signal and convert that energy into physical thing. Okay, so this is what is the function of transducer. After that, the following is an example of system using sensors and actuators. Now, examples of sensor and actuators. A public address system is an example of system which uses sensors and actuators. Now we know PA system, that is an example of system which uses sensors and actuators. Now PA system is going to include which factors or which sections? It will consist of a microphone, an amplifier, a loudspeaker, right? After that, the sensor or the device with the input function is a microphone. Obviously, microphone is a device or it is a sensor which will convert the physical quantity. Whatever we are going to talk, that mic is going to convert that physical voice into its equivalent electrical energy. Okay. It sends the sound signal and transfer them into the electrical signal. The amplifier receives the signal, electrical signals, and amplify their strength. Obviously, we are talking on a mic, our voice is very limited, but whenever we hear that voice, that is too loud. And how that noise, how that voice become loud? Because there is an amplifier in between. The function of amplifier is that only it will amplify the input signal. Okay. And the actuators are the device which is placed at the output which is loudspeaker. Now what is the function of loudspeaker? It will receive the electrical signal and it will convert them back into the physical thing, or physical thing. In this case, what is the physical thing? The physical thing is voice. Okay, so this is how PA system works. After that, there are some specifications of sensors. What are those? First one is your range. Okay. Now we know that the sensor can work in a particular range only. Now what is this specification? Range indicates the limit of input in which it can vary. Okay, for example, I'll give you a very basic example. If you are having a Wi-Fi connection, okay, the range of Wi-Fi is limited. Okay, the whatever sensor which is placed inside your mobile, that is going to receive those Wi-Fi signal at a particular distance only. That is what is the range of Wi-Fi. Okay, in case of temperature sensor, there is a limit, there is a range from this temperature to this temperature only. That thermometer can measure the temperature range. Okay, for example, see here, in case of temperature measurement, a thermocouple can have range 25 degrees Celsius to 250 degrees Celsius. So, right, beginning from 25 to 250 degrees Celsius, we can measure temperature on thermocouple. There are some other types of temperature sensor whose range is different. Okay. What is accuracy? It is the degree of exactness between the actual measurement and the true value. Suppose the actual value is 10, or actual value is 10, and whatever the reading of the sensor is showing us 9. That is somewhere like close. If we have another sensor, that's a measurement of that sensor is 5. So 5 is far away from 10. Okay. So what I was telling is exact measurement or actual measurement is 10. No matter which kind of sensor we are using, I'm giving just an example. The actual measurement is 10. There are two sensors, S1 and S2. Okay, the measurement by the sensor S1 will give you a measurement of 9, and this second sensor will give you a measurement of 5. Now which is closer? Okay, so exactness, where is the exactness in case of sensor 1? So we can say the accuracy of sensor 1 is more, and as the accuracy is more, your sensor output of sensor is going to be correct. After that, the sensitivity. Sensitivity is the relationship between input physical signal and output electrical signal. Whatever input signal you are going to get, whatever input signal you are going to apply, and whatever output signal you are going to get, the relation between them is nothing but sensitivity. Okay. It is the ratio of change in the output of the sensor to unit change in the input value. For example, if we are changing the input value by 1 unit, that sensor should be able to sense that 1 unit and it should produce the output equivalent to that 1 unit. Okay. you can just refer this as a smallest change in the input that can be detected by the sensor. After that, stability. What is stability? It is the ability of sensor to produce the same output for constant input over a period of time. Suppose if I'm having a temperature sensor or thermometer who is showing me the different temperature recordings or different temperature measurements, like whenever I'm using the temperature sensor, it will show me a different range or it will show me a different readings. So that is not it. That is not required. What we need, it should show us a constant reading over a particular period of time. That is nothing but stability of the sensor. After that, repeatability. What is this? It is the ability of the sensor to produce same output for different applications with the same input value. Okay, if I'm giving that sensor a same input, it should give me the same output. Its output should not change. Okay, suppose if I'm heating a temperature sensor to 100 degrees Celsius, it should show me the output as 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, no matter how many multiple times I should heat that sensor. Whenever I'm heating or whenever I'm giving input as 100 degrees Celsius, it should show me the output as 100 degrees Celsius only. That is repeatability. After that, the second last parameter is a response time. What is the response time? It is the speed of change in input, change in output on a stepwise change in input. So how much time that sensor is going to consume between application of input and production of output. Okay, the time required for the sensor to produce output when we apply input. After application of input, how much time that sensor is going to take to convert that input into its equivalent output. So that is response time. Okay. After that, the last parameter is linearity. It is the specified in terms of percentage of non-linearity. Linearity we can just specify as the percentage of non-linearity. Non-linearity is an indication of deviations of a curve of actual measurement from the curve of an ideal measurement. So if you are having a straight line graph as the ideal measurements, the practical or the readings taken by you, the graph of that measurement should be also a linear. That is linearity property. Okay, and there is one more thing which I would like to include in this, the classification of sensor as active sensors and passive sensor. What is active sensor? So active sensor generate electric voltage or current directly responds to the change in input and do not require an external source of energy for its functioning, right? So if there is a sensor which does not require any kind of external energy for its function, then you can refer that sensor as an active sensor. Active sensors, in case of active sensor, you will need a external energy source. If you are required external energy source, then you can just say that the type of sensor is active sensor. And in case of passive sensor, there is no need of external energy, right? Even if you are not apply any external energy, it will automatically give you the output as soon as that sensor is going to receive the input. So this is all about your chapter number 1, which is introduction to instrumentation system. All these are the parameters which are introductory. We are going to use all such parameters into the entire syllabus. We'll discuss the remaining things in the next lecture.